Space, the final frontier. This is the Observer's Notebook, the official podcast of the Association of Lunar and Planetary Observers. Its mission to explore the solar system, to seek out new observations and data, to boldly go where no podcast has gone before. And now the host of the Observer's Notebook, Tim Robertson.
Hello and welcome to episode 217 of the Observer's Notebook, the official podcast of the Association of Lunar and Planetary Observers. I'm Tim Robertson, the host of the podcast. Thanks for watching and listening. This podcast depends upon donations from you, our listeners and viewers, to keep it alive. If you enjoy what you hear on the podcast, you can donate to it via Patreon. You can start off by giving as little as $1 a month. If you feel even more generous, for $5, you receive early access to the podcast before it goes public. For a monthly donation of $10, you receive a copy of the Novice Observer's Handbook. And for $35 a month, you receive producer credits on the podcast. You can find out more by going to www.patreon.com/observersnotebook. And if you'd like to join the ALPO, you can for as little as $22 a year. For more information, find us at www.alpo-astronomy.org. And you can also find the ALPO on Facebook. Just search for ALPO Astronomy. And this podcast also has a Facebook page as well. Just search for Observer's Notebook. And if you enjoy the podcast, please subscribe. You'll never miss another episode. And while you're at it, hit the thumbs up and like. It really helps this channel. And now, episode 217, and we're talking the Lunar Observer. Enjoy. All right, I'd like to welcome everybody back to this edition of the Observer's Notebook podcast. And today we have a very special guest from our ALPO Lunar section, Dave Teske. Welcome to the podcast, Dave.
Hey, greetings. Hope all's well.
Good. Now, we're going to specifically talk about the lunar section, but a publication that you've done for a number of years, the Lunar Observer. How many years have you been doing that?
6 years.
Wow. Wow. And you edit the whole thing yourself?
Oh, yes.
Oh boy. Lucky you. Well, you're doing a fine job. It's a highly looked forward to publication, and it's monthly, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
Been every month for 6 years on the first of the month.
Wow. Crazy. All right. Well, you want to present us
Yes.
you have a presentation you want to share?
Sure. Why don't we
Okay.
take a look at our latest edition of the Lunar Observer?
Okay.
Can I share my screen here?
Yes, you can.
Okay. I titled this one The Anatomy of ALPO's The Lunar Observer for our podcast today. And I thought we'd take a look at the latest edition, the August 2025 issue of the Lunar Observer. The Lunar Observer is a monthly newsletter for our ALPO of the Lunar Topographic Studies section. And as you mentioned before, it's been edited by me for 6 years,
Wow.
right at 6 years right now. And so what we're going to do is dive into the latest issue of the Lunar Observer, TLO, which again is the August 2025 edition. And each edition starts with the front page with a table of contents of what's there. And if you look at the August front page, we have 75 pages there.
Oh my goodness.
And this is a small one.
I think the last one was almost 100 pages, wasn't it?
Yep. Yes. And we had one a few months ago, 170. That's a lot of pages.
It's a lot of pages. A lot of work.
Yes. Yes. But some of the stuff in each issue of the Lunar Observer, we have something on page 2 called Lunar Reflections, which is a bit of a greeting, some announcements, and some highlights of the various articles that are there. And it'll also give us some announcements like upcoming focus on articles that we need some data for, or an exciting one for me was a couple months ago, we had the very rare possibility of seeing a far side crater called Schrodinger, which you just don't see, but there was the possibility there. So we made a big push for that. And I do some complaining about the weather and even have some short editorials.
Okay.
But we all complain about the weather, except in sunny California.
Well, we complain. But
The
it gets
next
under.
page in, I think, is the most important page. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, we only complain when it gets under 60 degrees.
We won't be there for a while here. The next page in the Lunar Observers, I think the most important one. It lists the observers, where they're from, what articles they've had, or images and drawings and such that they submitted. Sometimes this runs 2 pages.
No, my.
So that's really good news.
So you're able to give recognition to all your contributors on a monthly basis.
Oh, yes, each one.
That's great.
I started a few years ago something called By the Numbers, which includes a table of the observer's location and how many observations they have per country. And what really got me going with this is you were talking earlier about Julius Benton
Mhm.
when he does his reports in the journal of the Venus and Saturn section. He has basically this in there where the observers are and how many observations they submit. So I always think that's pretty cool. And you're going to see almost every month Latin America combined does an incredible job of submitting observations. Alberto Annunziato, our assistant coordinator, he does a great job of rounding up people to submit observations.
Alberta is great.
Also, there's a pie graph with the various types of telescopes used in the present month, and the reflector and refractor, the Schmidt-Cassegrain and Maxitovs are generally equally represented. Last month we had somebody with a Mulan, Takahashi Mulan. He got quite a few observations in.
Is it usually consistent, the same observers every month, or do you have new ones come in and out?
There's like a core of observers that are pretty consistent,
Okay.
but there's always some that drop out and some that drop in and from faraway places, Croatia, Vietnam, the
Right.
Philippines. They just pop in and then they disappear for a while. I just got one the other day from Turkey,
Oh my.
you know, places I don't expect. I'm still looking for an observation from Africa.
Mhm.
It's the one continent I don't have yet.
Okay. Well, let's put a call out there. I know we have listeners of the
I've tried.
podcast. Yeah,
Please, we need it.
yeah.
I was talking to somebody in South Africa last year about this problem, and he said he'd send something in.
Okay.
I also do shameless promotions.
Hmm.
I try to include something that's new that's happening with lunar observing, such as a new book or a new app for lunar observing. The latest promotion we have is the virtual Lunar Atlas version 9. It's free to download. It's great. You should have it if you're at all interested in the moon. In the past, I've reviewed books by Robert Reeves. He has spectacular books and images about the moon. It all helps us out.
Hmm.
It's a great time to be in lunar astronomy because there's a lot of really nice new books out there.
Great.
And the shameless promotions sometimes get us to some good articles. So it all works out. We have something called the Lunar Topographic Studies,
Mm-hmm.
which these are the articles sent in each month by the contributors. Each month, generally, we have between 6 and 9 articles sent in, and these range from about one page to 10 or 12 pages or thereabouts. This particular article last month was on Pondering the Lunar Strait Wall by Robert Reeves, and he has just spectacular lunar imaging that he submits. And I think this article ended up being about 8 pages. Beautiful, beautiful pictures. Another article that we had last month was from our award-winning Greg Shanos. He contributes regularly both articles and images, and Greg really likes to be out there observing those fleeting moments
Mm-hmm.
in lunar astronomy. He always loves getting a picture of the lunar X and V when possible. Um, I always kid him about all the lunar O's that are out there. And of course, he looks at lunar conjunctions and lunar eclipses. He really is good at catching
Now,
those rare moments.
for our viewers that don't are not familiar with the terminology, what is a lunar X and V?
Ah, good question. I don't have the picture right here of it, but the lunar X happens right around first quarter, and it's when 4 craters basically bump up against each other, and the way the sunlight hits them, it looks like the letter X.
Okay.
And you can see it with a small telescope. And also the lunar V is the same way. A couple of craters line up, and you can see a big capital letter V.
Okay.
Sometimes in our lunar topographic studies, we get some more equipment sort of uh, discussions and some imaging discussions, which is great. Daryl Wilson is the ALPO expert on thermal imaging. He's done a number of articles in the Lunar Observer. He's done articles in the journal as well over the last 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
Thermal imaging involves using a specialized camera that records the heat given off by objects. And in order to do this successfully, you have to have a large aperture reflector telescope. So my Schmidt-Cassegrain won't work. There's glass in the way. It has to be just an open mirror.
Hmm.
This month, Daryl reviewed a new camera for us. And this new camera is called the i3 System TE-EV1 camera. And it appears to be promising for the amateur astronomer. The main concern, of course, for us is its price. Its price is coming down, so hopefully in the years to come we'll get a more accessible one for us. Daryl has demonstrated excellent results during lunar eclipses of lunar thermal properties. So as the moon goes into a sudden eclipse, he can note how different craters and maria cool down and heat up. And there's interesting thermal differences between the fresh and old lunar craters, which is related to the regolith on the moon, which, someday if we ever get people back to the moon, that'll be of concern.
Hmm.
As I said in the conference the other day, we have a great assistant coordinator for our section, Alberto Annunziato. He always has articles in each month about interesting looks at lunar topography. In this particular article right here, a brief analogy of oblique craters with a central spine, he looked at these craters that are long and skinny, and they're formed by when an asteroid hit the moon long ago. It hit at a very, very shallow angle, probably less than 5 degrees. So instead of forming a circular crater, it formed a long, skinny crater.
Hmm.
And on some of these craters, rather than having a central peak, think of like Copernicus with a nice mountain in the middle of it,
Mm-hmm.
it has a line of mountains down the center of the crater.
Interesting.
And to the best of my knowledge, no one else is doing any research on this. So this is cutting edge for us. Almost every month, Rick Hill, who is the ALPO solar coordinator, he contributes a short article and image of an interesting lunar feature. Last month, or this month, he submitted a article on the crater Belarius, and nice little write-up. These are always well received and very much to the point.
Hmm.
We really enjoy having them. Alberto Annunziato, the section assistant coordinator, has been fascinated by wrinkle ridges in the lunar mare.
Mm-hmm.
And usually each month he draws a couple of these. And what's really cool is you see in the upper right here, his drawing of a wrinkle ridge, which is a place where two lava sheets compressed together of some sort and buckled up. They're only visible when when the terminator's right by that wrinkle ridge. He draws them. He is quite good at his drawing with his 4-inch Maxitoff, and then he compares his drawings with K.C. Pa, his lunar atlas.
Ah.
Now, K.C. Pa lives in Hong Kong, and you and us, the majority of us who go out and observe with our telescopes, we complain about the weather and the mosquitoes, and the moon was blocked by a tree or some such silly thing. He lives in a high-rise building in Hong Kong,
Oh
and
my.
he catches the moon between high-rise buildings. He pulls out a 10-inch reflector out on his balcony. Just imagine that, catching it between high-rise buildings.
Wow.
And he has fabulous, fabulous lunar images. So we have nothing to complain about.
No.
Almost every month, Tim, you brought this up. We get a surprise person come in and drop off some images or an article, a non-regular contributor. This one is from Marcelo Moica in Bolivia.
Oh.
And he asks us why observe the full moon. So like I say, it's fun getting them from all over.
Interesting. Wow.
And here's another one of Alberto's articles about wrinkle ridges. And if you read about it, he'll say that this wrinkle ridge is a few 100 meters tall. That doesn't sound like much, but just imagine if you're an astronaut cruising along on the moon,
Mm-hmm.
on a nice flat Maria, and you see a wrinkle ridge a few 100 meters tall. That's 1,000 feet or thereabouts.
That would be impressive.
That's going to stop your progress cold.
Yeah.
And these are dozens to 100 miles long. That's some interesting stuff for our future explorers.
Definitely.
Moving on, we have recent topographic studies, and this is basically images and drawings from observers all over the world. There's not really an article associated with it, but some beautiful lunar images. Here we see Massimo Dionisi from Italy. Beautiful images he produces. And Ken Vaughan in British Columbia, Canada. Again, beautiful images. Like I said, they're from all over the place. Almost every month, Dr. Anthony Cook of in Wales of the United Kingdom writes an in-depth several-page article about lunar geologic change. Now, in the past, if we did this podcast 100 years ago, we would be talking about transient lunar phenomenon and these strange glows in craters and such. Well, that just doesn't really happen, we don't think. They're rarely, if ever, reported today.
Okay.
So what Tony tries to do is look at modern views of the moon and compare them with historic events, historic sightings on the moon. Sometimes it's, a flaring in the telescope that may have done it. Sometimes it's completely unexplained.
Hmm.
And of course, we have all the other goodies that are included, like a calendar that includes this month's activities with the moon. And of course, an invitation to join ALPO is included.
Good for you.
And I think over the years, we've got a few people to join, hopefully stay.
Mm-hmm.
Now to the part that I really want to discuss. There is a full page called Contributor Guidelines. You'll notice the page in the Lunar Observer has words highlighted in bold and in red, or bold, black, and big. These mean they're important. Please, if you want to contribute to us, do some simple things. Have the correct date and universal time on your image, please. Spell the features correctly.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say this if they were spelled incorrectly, if they weren't, okay?
I hear you.
And please, please practice self-control. I know we can take many lunar images on any night. I go outside when I can get a chance to image the moon, and I can easily take 20 or 30 images of the moon in relatively short order. But please contribute no more than 8 images a month. It takes me roughly an hour to get 8 images labeled and put in the Lunar Observer and put in the ALPO website. Send your best work, send your best images. I've had some people send me 70 some images at once.
Oh my goodness.
And we are a volunteer organization, and that just really stresses me out when someone does that.
Mm-hmm. You
So
gotta go.
that's why we're having the
You have to go through all of
no
them.
more than 8 images.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes. Do you have anything to add to that, Tim?
No, I mean, and I'm sure to get this. I don't want to call it a newsletter. It's closer to a magazine. I mean, for the number of pages it
Right.
is, I'm sure the subscription fee is what, $25 a year, $30 a year.
Anyone who would like to send that to me was great, but it's generally free.
It's free. So how does one
It's
go about
free.
getting? But how do they go about getting it?
Funny you should ask. I'll come to that in a couple slides.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's free on the ALPO website.
Okay.
We talk about things like future focus on topics and once again, contributor guidelines. So yes, they are important. Oh, let me go back a slide. When you label a slide, it really helps to label it so that everyone can understand it. The lunar section and the comet section is different from all the other ALPO sections. if you're submitting a Mars image to the Mars section, you generally have a date and time and filters and such. We know it's in Mars, okay?
Right.
But for the moon, you're submitting an image of, say, a crater, so label it, say, Copernicus. So someone in the future who wants a picture of Copernicus can go to it, give us the date, the correct date, and universal time, and initials or name, something like that. So in the future, someone will know who took this picture.
Good
We have a
advice.
beautiful website up there. It'll be there for a long time. So let's do it right. And again, these focus on topics are announced in advance. The focus on topics are bi-monthly articles that are written by Alberto Annunziato. They're generally pretty large articles that feature images, drawings, additional articles, and text from observers around the globe. Mare Humorum is the article that we're going to do next month. So we need any images of Mare Humorum that you have sent in as soon as possible, at latest by the 20th of the month. So we
Cool.
try to give you a heads up on that. I was just putting in my images of Mare Humorum. I knew for most of a year we were going to be having this, so I had quite a few pictures of Mare Humorum to go through.
That's good. So you're basically giving your readers a project every month to go observe a certain lunar feature.
Oh, yes.
Nice.
Yes. And it can be new material that they get or old stuff as
Hmm.
well.
Okay.
In November, we're doing Aristarchus, a beautiful crater in the northwest moon. We'll get a lot of pictures of those.
Hmm.
In January, we do Schickard. In March of 2026, see, the year will come, 2026. Rima Hyginus will be the feature, so get out there, start taking pictures of the moon and such.
Very good.
And at the end, I try to assemble a lunar map of the features in the current edition, and it really has made me quite proficient in locating lunar features quickly.
I'm sure it has. You know where everything's at at a glance.
Well, the weird ones really get me confused. But so you asked a question a little while ago. Where do we go from here?
Yep.
To submit any questions, articles, images, drawings, or anything else lunar, please send them to my email address, drteske@yahoo.com, and check out the ALPO website, and you will find the current and recent issues of the Lunar Observer there. You go to the ALPO or ALPO website, go to Lunar section, go to publications. There it is.
Very good.
And the price is free.
Wow. That's amazing. That's a lot of material that you're sending out every month.
It is. And we have only one person who we actually old-fashioned mail it to, Robert Hayes.
Okay.
He's been a contributor to the lunar section and all of ALPO really
Right.
for decades. And my understanding, he does it like computers, so we do it the old-fashioned way.
There you go. Probably the way postage is, it might be cheaper to buy them a computer. Very good. I like it, David.
And he sends in beautiful drawings and such.
Yeah. Very nice. All right. Do you have anything else you'd like to add about the lunar section or the Lunar Observer?
It's a seems to be a popular section and growing. Please send in your material and any questions you have
Yeah,
to me.
Yeah, that's one thing I
Check it
noticed
out.
during the conference, the great talks we had about the moon. I mean, you think it's 2025. Who's looking at the moon? Well, you look at your lunar observer, a lot of people are still looking at the moon. It's there's
Right.
so many dynamic features to look at and things to learn and see. So, we the ALPO we participate in the International Observe the Moon Night put on by NASA Goddard, and they've been very interested in. I've sent them copies of the Lunar Observer, and they really like it a lot. So I want to congratulate you on that as well.
That may actually be a good idea for another podcast coming up, that we really should publicize that a lot.
Yeah, well, I'm actually going to interview the director of it
Last,
next month. So
okay, great.
yeah,
Because last year, I think it snuck up on us, but
yeah. This year I'm trying to give us fair warning.
okay,
Great.
great.
David, this has been great. I want to thank you for coming on the podcast today and putting together a great presentation on the Lunar Observer. I will put your email address also in the show notes. So anybody that wants to get a hold of you, whether to submit observations or find out about getting copies of the Lunar Observer, they can contact you directly.
Great.
All right. Thank you, David.
Okay, thanks, Tim.
Well, that'll do it for this episode of the Observer's Notebook. Again, I want to thank the editor-in-chief of the Lunar Observer, Dave Teske, for coming on the podcast today. Please give the podcast a thumbs up and a like. It really helps our channel. We upload new episodes every few weeks. You can subscribe to us on iTunes and the ALPO YouTube channel. You can help support the podcast by donating to it via Patreon, where you can give up to $35 a month, where you receive producer credits on the podcast. I also want to thank the producer of this podcast, Steve Siedentop and Michael Moyer, for their generous support. The link for Patreon, as well as the link for the ALPO, is in the show notes. You can contact me via email at commentman@commentman.net. And my hope is that we always have clear and steady skies. I want to thank you all for watching.